Nitro is back after the buffs this patch, so let's take a look at how you can play it, which augments and items to go for, and which variations and alternative units you can play too. So this comp plays around the Nitro and Exotech traits. Elise will be our main backline AP damage dealer with Shyvana and Sejuani tanking in front of her, and then we also have Neferi and Jhin as another carry option depending on our Exotech item. This comp is super easy to play, it's very flexible, and it usually isn't too heavily contested, so should likely lead to an easy top 4. The problem is, it's not very forceable. You have to get Nitro in early so you can start stacking up your Chrome, and if you don't get a 3 Nitro start, then you might end up bot 4, as you won't get to witness your underwhelming little robot turn into a T-Rex laser killing machine. The full comp uses Sejuani, Elise, Jhin, Neferi, Shyvana, Aurora, Misfortune, Kindred, and Nidalee. But for replacement options, you actually have a ton of different variations to go for, so don't worry, we've got you covered. If reroll Nitro is being contested, you can actually play this comp for tempo instead, where you can forget about rerolling and push levels instead to play around Misfortune and Aurora as your itemized carries instead. If you don't hit reroll augments but you find experience augments instead, or if Nitro is heavily contested, we definitely recommend playing it this way, as you'll probably end up with a higher placement. If you aren't finding many Exotech units or don't have any good Exotech items for either Neferi or Jhin, you could swap out Exotech for AMP units instead and play around Neferi, Nidalee and Yuumi. One final variation you can try is our Nitro Boss comp as well, which still uses Nitro units but also plays around these Cyberboss units here as our carries instead. So basically, Nitro is very flexible with lots of variations based on which augments, items and units you find. Back to Nitro Tech then, and when it comes to items and carries, this will heavily depend on what your Exotech item is at the 3 Exotech threshold. Neferi wants a Hyper Fangs or a Pulse Stabilizer, and Jhin wants a Pulse Stabilizer too. Any other options won't make this comp or these carries anywhere near as powerful. One carry that will always be strong in Nitro comps though is Elise, and she wants those AP items like Spear of Shojin for faster casts and big damage with a Jeweled Gauntlet and a Guard Breaker. But you can also go for things like Death Cap or Archangels if you need to slam. Then we have Neferi, and she loves items like Edge of Night, Hand of Justice and Infinity Edge alongside the Exotech item in Hyper Fangs or Pulse Stabilizer. You can also go for a bit more of a bruisery focus instead with BT and Titans, or in the best case scenario, if you find the artifact item Spectral Cutlass, she is by far the best user of this in the game so far this set. Jhin also wants a Pulse Stabilizer alongside an Infinity Edge and Spear of Shojin. These items together are by far the best combination, as Pulse Stabilizer executes enemies and deals more damage if your ability can already crit. So if this is your Exotech item, it's a good sign to play this comp, and a good sign to prioritize Infinity Edge components first. Alternative items for Jhin would be a Last Whisper, Deathblade and Guardbreaker. Finally, we have our main tank in this comp, which is going to be Shyvana, and she'll take Warmogs for extra health, a Gargoyle Stoneplate for resistances, and a Sunfire if you haven't already got anti-heal. As usual though, tanks are pretty flexible, so Bramble Vest, Dragon's Claw or even a Steadfast will get the job done and keep your backline safe. Any remaining leftover tank items can go onto Sejuani, and you definitely want to keep her casting, so aim for mana items like Protector's Vow, Redemption or Adaptive Helm. Remember guys, we always need anti-heal and anti-resistances, as it really will massively make the difference in teamfights, so make sure you have some penetration with an Event Shroud or Last Whisper, and a Static Shiv or Onyx Spark, as we play both AD and AP carries in this comp. When it comes to spatulas, there isn't really too many good ones to play in this comp, so it's not really a priority. But if the game does give you one, you can focus on getting a frying pan over a spat and combining it with a tear for a dynamo emblem. Let's get on to augments then, and S tier augments are those Nitro specific ones, and they actually have a couple. One of the fun ones to look out for is Spare Parts, which gives you a Nitro Hex turret that you can backline, which will help your backline deal some extra damage. The second Nitro augment is called Polished Chrome, and this makes it so when you 3-star your Nitro champions they gain AD and AP, which is always good, but also grant you extra gold. This one is extremely strong, because 3-starring those Nitro units grants you extra chrome, but the extra gold you get will help you push levels after you have got your upgrades. Speaking of upgrades, reroll augments are absolutely massive here, so make sure you look out for things like Starry Nights or Shop Glitch. The last S tier augment we'll recommend you go for here is Bulky Buddies. Now this one works really well as 3-star units have more HP, meaning a bigger shield. Plus we also have an extra unit on our board with the robot. A tier augments include Pandora's Bench and Prismatic Ticket to help you hit your upgrades, and if you want a combat augment, look out for Pumping Up, Glass Cannon or Preparation, as you have tons of copies on your bench whilst you're rerolling. Okay, so your best chance to win when playing Nitro is getting 3 or even 4 Nitro in as early as possible so you can start stacking up your robot with the Chrome. Then you want to get 50 gold as quickly as possible so you can start re-rolling, as the faster you upgrade your Nitro units, the stronger your T-Hex will be later on. This is why hitting those big reroll augments like Starry Night will genuinely be a huge boost to this comp ceiling, allowing you to farm more chrome more quickly to get the T-Hex online faster, but also making it scale up even harder too. Having the right Exotech carry item on either Neferi or Jhin is also a big deal, as if we don't have good options, we often want to play this comp differently or play around Misfortune or Aurora at level 8 instead. Hitting your upgrades during stage 3 will be a key factor here, as you'll be able to push levels earlier to add in Misfortune and Aurora and Sejuani. With 4 Dynamo online with our full board, our carries will be pumping some serious damage, and this should be more than enough to help you fight for first place. Let's get on to the game plan next then, and this is a level 6 slow roll comp, where you'll be rolling to hit your Nitro and Exotech units 3-starred before pushing higher levels to complete your board. The best opener by far is hitting 3 Nitro, so if you get an early Shyvana or Elise in your shop or from a loot orb, you're in luck. We recommend your 4th unit be a backliner, as you'll most likely have Nidalee and Shyvana and the robot, so add in Jhin or Kog'Maw. Or in the best case, if you have 4 Nitro early on, this means you can start stacking up your chrome even quicker. If you don't have upgraded units or an item to make, you can also consider loose streaking for carousel priority. You want to aim to be level 6 at around stage 3 too, and start setting up your slow roll strategy. The goal for stage 3 will be to 3-star your Nitro units alongside Jhin and Neferi, and you'll either activate 4 Nitro here or 3 Exotech. If you have loads of AP items ready, we'd recommend getting in 4 Nitro over 3 Exotech so Elise can hold them. Remember at this point in the game to check if you are being contested, because this is the last chance you'll have, as you can push levels instead and play around Misfortune and Aurora if you need to. Once you've got your board 3-starred, now it's time to save up gold again so you can push levels for your final units. Level 7 will be a big spike here, as you can fit in 4 Nitro and 3 Exotech, especially with all of your units 3-starred. You're going to be seriously strong and ramping up that chrome. So all that's left during stage 4 is to scout and position correctly. And make sure you keep your economy strong, as if we can get to levels 8 and 9 to add the final 2 Dynamo units, this will be the cherry on top for this comp. Stages 5 and 6 in the late game is basically where we're just adding the finishing touches. Level 10 isn't really as important, and it's quite unrealistic as we're playing around a reroll level 6 board. But when you do have enough gold to go level 9, make sure you send it. Here we'll focus on 3 different legendaries: Aurora as a 2-star Dynamo unit on your board, and then a 2-star Zac or Urgot on your bench. With all of these upgraded units, 4 Dynamo activated and a big T-Hex lasering your enemies, you'll be well on your way for some juicy LP. Finally, a quick look at positioning, and it's definitely important to scout here as we're playing a front to back comp. You'll want Jhin in the corner with Elise close so they can focus on similar targets. You want your robot either on the most left, right, or in the middle spot. Now this will be perfect, as its laser will spread across the board. As always, when playing Sejuani, you want to place her to the left or right middle of your front line, depending on where the enemy carries are placed. She can stun entire enemy backlines if you get her position right, so don't sleep on this. Place Shyvana on the opposite side of your robot or T-Hex, as you don't want Neferi taking the aggro first. And finally, you want Misfortune in the other corner of the backline, as her bullet time will hit the most amount of enemy units, and then Aurora can be placed anywhere else in the back 2 rows. And that will give you everything you need to know on how to win with our Nitro Tech comp. Remember, you can follow this comp in-game with our overlay, and you can also check out all the different variations for Nitro in our overlay too. So make sure you download that and bring it with you into your next game. Good luck guys, and have fun.